Hello. So you think you're a G, huh? You think this is what a G would do? Nah. What is going on, guys? This is a new crazy video where I'm playing as Tracer. This is my Tracer impression. I'm Tracer, huh? So yeah. As you will see, I'm trying to avoid saying as you can see because I said that loads last time. But this is a special one where you get to see it from both sides. I thought I'd show it from both sides because we both do things a little bit different, but a little bit the same. You can do a lot of things in Spawn, like train your aim, listen to sounds, and even check what people are going to play. Even with a full time limit, you can't really get through everyone's profile, but it's still useful for getting some information if you're trying to get ahead of the game. So now the game started, I will give a quick warning that I've edited this very chaotically. It's kind of hard to follow sometimes. So I'm in Plat 4, I think, right now, and this is some prime Plat 4 gameplay. The point of views will be flipping from both sides of the teams. Surprisingly, just now we both just died at basically the same time. Also, I'm working on some pretty sick transitions, and that was just a real sick one, a nice Zizzler. And this episode is full of them, so please, you know, do what you gotta do. Tell me if you like them, tell me if you hate them, what would you rate them. Back to the gameplay, this Tracer is trying to harass our backline with their monkey, which I think is a pretty good game plan. You know, you'll usually kill someone as long as, you know, their team is Tarash, which they do. This fight was really tough for me because their movement was good enough where they were dashing behind me and I couldn't get a good sort of track on them. I think you're about to see it right now. This is what I was doing in the time that they were jumping on our backline. This monkey, he could have died so easily, but they had a life leader, and that's one of the first ever instances of life leader doing anything. He sucks, he's so bad. Oh my god, he sucks, he's so bad. He's actually pretty good. I like playing with him. I mean, sometimes he can just troll you, but usually they don't do that. No one, usually bold people play life leader. So this is from my point of view. I said the wrong thing, so I had to, you know, cut in and give myself a good old talking to. As you can see, I used to play Tracer like an assassin, but recently I've been adopting this playstyle where just constant aggression, just non-stop going in. If I ever have any downtime, I just keep going in, just trying to harass them, make them scared for their lives. And it seems to work pretty well. I get a lot of kills, but sometimes it's about 50-50, I would say. But there you can see me doing more than their Tracer. I get 2 kills with a bomb, she gets 1 kill with a bomb. You know, the cards weren't in it for her. In actuality, I think this Tracer was maybe better than me. Like in an average game setting, this team was like worked really well with my dives because we had this Doomfist right here. He was always going in, and he seemed to just do so well. I was trying to keep my supports alive from this Tracer, and just going in whenever I could, but I still think that this Doomfist, kind of the MVP. This right here was probably the sickest bit of the whole thing. This whole game, I was just constantly, I was in flow state. I was literally, my body and my mind were one, and it was crazy. You would not believe your eyes, 10,000 firefly. Now do you think if I keep that in, I'm gonna cringe out for the rest of my life? Because I'm gonna keep it in because I think it's funny, but it's also obnoxious, and I can definitely see someone making fun of me for that. So leave a like if you thought that was funny. If you didn't think it was funny, don't drop a like. Drop a comment saying that you know my address. That's a cool little tech. It's called blinking. This is how you're actually supposed to do what I was trying to do. In higher ranks, these people would be on me like straight away, or at least I would hope so. But really, the main purpose of this is just to catch their aggression, to give them some pressure from the back. because if I'm just in the front with everyone else, you know, they can easily deal with us. If they just have like any hit scan, the Sojourn, she has ult there. She can, if she pops that ult, you know, that's probably like 2 or 3 kills for her. Even though we do have Doom Fist, even though we have a lot of dive, if none of the dive is on the flank or on an off angle, it's kind of pointless. So what I just showed you was a cool little tech. It's called a Blink Punch Recool. This is something that is pretty much nothing, but it's part of Tracer's kit, and it's something that you should learn if you're picking up the hero.
The biggest mistake I see bad Tracer players make is misusing Blink Melee and Blink Melee Recall. For some reason, lower ranked players think it's really cool, so they try to do it way more than they should.
So that was Dante. He's like a really good Tracer player. He is an inspiration of mine in terms of this, which I'm sure that he would be so happy to hear. This is me experimenting with the blink distance. Something I didn't know is that it goes 7.5 meters, so 4 blinks, that's 30 meters. And that's pretty crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room filled with rats, and rats make me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room filled with rats. This is me doing blinks from the side. That's something you should learn as well. But I'm also demonstrating that Tracer actually has a preference in terms of what hand she uses, and she's a right-handed human being. I think that's a pretty cool detail, but it also makes things less consistent because, I mean, it's pretty easy to hit a melee, but you never know, you might hit them from the right side like this and just accidentally miss. Tracer's bomb is also a pretty weird ultimate. It's got line of sight, which is something I didn't know until this video. It sticks to people, and it's really easy to hit. It's really easy to hit. Watch this. As I mentioned earlier, the side in which she throws the bomb is actually always the right side. In the same way that melees can screw you over because they're always from the right, this can also screw you over. Another big core concept with Tracer is blinking to the side of the enemy. Blinking to their side makes it really hard for them because they have to snap to where you are. You get an inherent advantage because you can see them and they can't see you. That sounds like really obvious, but I've had so many games where people don't look at the high ground, or just people will be in weird situations and they won't be expecting people from the flank, and just unexpected places make it really hard to hit. Because if you're expecting somebody to be somewhere, it's way easier to hit them. This game is so chaotic that I find a lot of the time it's just so hard to know where people are going to come from and what they're going to do. Even if you have like trillions of hours of game sense, there's still going to be times where just for some reason somebody just decided to go a weird way that you didn't expect them to go. It's another little transition for ya. Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room, double lamp.
Hard time.
Crazy? I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room. The advantage of my playstyle with the maximum aggression is that, I mean, it wasn't directly because of me, it was more because of the Doom Fist, but we kept them in the spawn doors, and that means that they can't touch the point, and the point is the thing that they want to touch because we want to touch it as well. Now, that's a sick kill! I just killed that monkey! Don't take that out of context! Alright, no more jokes from now on, because I think that this needs to be educational and informative, no jokes. Sorry. So now that we've basically won the team fight, I need to go look around for targets. The high ground is the best place to do that, and I've also got recool, so I can be in compromised positions, such as in their spawn. And if I used recool, I could have just got the high ground again, but you know, I didn't need to use it. In the last video I was talking about how amazing the high ground is, and even on someone as Tracer who has pretty bad damage fall off, it's still really useful to get the high ground because you can still harass them, and if you see an opportunity it's real easy to just jump in there and jump back out. Also for this bit, if you can keep track of which tracer is which the whole time, you have an eagle-eyed eye. I think the editing for this is really cool, but also it means that there's like no downtime in a real game. If someone dies, you know, you have some time to spawn to be, oh, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna do now. But the whole time, you could watch this whole thing without me speaking over it, and you'd probably be engaged the whole time just because something's always happening, something's always going on. There's never an ending fight until the end of the match. Basically, at this point, I think I was panicking a lot because we were near the end in terms of where the cart is. Also, on this high ground, the way that the platforms move is just so annoying. And I mean, that wasn't the reason that I was having such trouble doing that Sojourn. Really, all I needed to do was just stand still, but I was worried that she would turn around and just kill me instantly. And that's kind of Trace's real big issue, is that she's so easy to kill that I often stress way more than I probably need to about the fact that somebody could just turn around and kill me any moment. If you play against any good Hanzo, any good pocketed McCree or Soldier, it's like so hard to just... you have to be always ahead of them, and if they're a really good player, that's incredibly difficult to predict. And my death here was also caused by the fact that I knew that Anna and Trace were coming out of spawn, but I wanted to play on their side to be on the off angle, but obviously it's just too much of a compromising position, and I just couldn't keep track of when they were coming out and at what times and stuff. Basically, we needed to win that fight, and we don't win it, so it kind of screws us over. I do kind of have an issue with Overwatch's map design, where I understand that you need the spawn doors to get closer. Like, it's the last point, so the enemy needs to have the most advantage, or the defending side needs the most advantage when it's closer to the end. But I think that too often it just makes a frustrating experience. I remember on 2 CP maps, you know, Hanamura, the spawn doors are literally right next to it, and it's this. I mean, it's the same on every map, but I just wish that, you know, maybe they'd adjust the hallways or something. Just make it a little bit less... Basically, for the attacking team to win, they have to win a team fight probably twice in a row for them to secure the point the whole way. And that means that they have to be so good that, you know, they're destroying your team twice, which is... that's not really normal. Usually, you know, you'll kill like half their team, maybe they'll stall for a little bit, and then the rest of their team will come back, and then your spawn doors are so far away that stuff like this happens where, you know, I'm trying to stall, but there's nothing I can do because the team is so far. I mean, there's lots of things I could have done, and there's things I could have done in the lead up to us trying to stall, but in general it's just frustrating to know that there's nothing you can do.
Earlier this year, Tracer's blink got buffed and she can now blink a bit higher, which allows her to get to a lot of new high ground spots. Here's a clip demonstrating that.
Some of these are things you've seen me do in the video already, but there's a surprising amount of places you can get to on Tracer using the verticality of her blink. And that's not something that's been in the game the whole time, so while it's not a new mechanic by any means, there's still a lot of nuances that people probably haven't figured out just because it's not been with the game since day one. If you think of a character like Doomfist, they have so many options available to them just because their movement is so weird and finicky that people have just managed to get insane value out of the unexpected nature of how that would work against an actual human being. This bit I thought was really cool, but also so stupid. I think if they're gonna have some kind of obstacle that you can use to climb up the high ground like this, they should have made just sort of something. I understand that there's like a skill gap and your ability to see if you can climb it, but there should definitely be just a more concrete thing, because if they're trying to go for a competitive nature, I have issue with this game in the way that it uses props to just pad things out and make things needlessly annoying. For example here, that sign being there, it adds character to the level, but there's no reason for it to exist other than for me to do what I just did. There's no reason. Why does that need to be there? In my sort of 10-minute tests of me recording me doing this, I think that is probably the most creative use of using all 3 blinks to get some weird high ground. I mean, there's probably not much reason to use it other than to look cool, but because there's other routes you could take that would probably be safer and faster and less prone to mistakes. We like to call that maximum ownage because everybody just died, and this is a pretty weird scene. I don't really understand what happened here. I think maybe her controller disconnected or something like that, because I've never seen, or maybe she accidentally pressed enter, I don't know, it's just weird. I think a lot of people have this tunnel vision problem, myself included, and it can really cause way too many deaths and way too many lost objectives. I think my decision here to get the health pack was probably a bad idea, just because we have supports, and the supports could have killed me like very easily. I mean, I'm not sure if they would have tunnel visioned, but I just think that staying with them would have finished that fight a lot quicker, and then I could have seen this monkey a lot faster. He probably would have died with that anti-nade before he even managed to use ult. Here, I blinked to the side of that Ashe, but when I played against good Ashes, you know, they know they're ready to. Now, I don't want to place the blame on anyone, but I think that the Doomfist threw that fight, you know, he had no health and he punched into their team, so obviously, you know, pretty big mistake from him, but, you know, I'll let it slide because, you know, it all turns out okay in the end. I don't want to spoil the game, but, you know, oh, you know. Now here, the Reaper had the disadvantage, but he lays the smackdown and the roar and the pain on this Tracer. In the last, before, you didn't see it because I cut it out, but he was just like non-stop killing this Tracer, just killing her 24/7, and it must have been so annoying, so frustrating. But she, to be fair, she was playing like really close to him in his range, so you have to be really good to flick around him and kill him properly. I have pretty big trust issues in terms of the supports because sometimes they just don't heal you. Sometimes they're looking at you and they don't heal you. But here, you know, I trusted this Ana enough to try and protect her because I knew the Tracer was behind, and if I just give him free reign to harass the Ana, you know, she can't do the job. So it's better to take this 1v1 than it is to not take the 1v1, maybe kill their team, but definitely don't have an Ana. And on defense, you know, you want every advantage you can get, because the moment that like something in the defense cracks, then your team is just like easy pickings for the enemy, because it's 5v5 versus 4v5, and the spawn doors take so long to get back that usually it's just not worth it. I'm tempted to put the Spider-Man in for that bit. In fact, I might actually go back and edit that. So if you hear that, that's why that's in there. I kind of don't like putting in memes anymore. I used to think that, you know, it's not funny, let's just put in a meme. But that makes it 10 times less funny. Even in like my weird ironic sense of humor way. So that's why I've been avoiding it most of my videos. But you know, sometimes I can't help it, because sometimes they're funny, sometimes they actually are funny. But I would just say trying to be funny is 10 times less funny than being actually funny. And that's quite a philosophical thing, so you know, I can understand if you disagree, but you know, just it's quite hard to be like funny, and I would recommend that you just, you know, just be yourself, brother. Come on, brother, just hey, calm down. if there's one Overwatch tip you need to know, is that you need to kill the break, and you need to kill the people who are purple. If someone's purple, you have to go kill them. Facts, logic. This is Bill's bonus funny hour, where I talk about Overwatch fun facts that will improve your games. So fact number 1 is you gotta like kill the enemies and stuff, because they kind of like stop you from doing stuff and things. So you want to kill them. Step 2, pick up that health pack, because most of the time that's like really important. Step 3, make sure that you kill this Reaper with your pulse bomb. Oh, they didn't follow my advice. Oh, they should have followed my advice. But you know, they still got the kill, so you know, they're alright. That face when you try to stall the point, but then they totally just don't do it. You C9 as they say, and then they have the point after that. Like if you agree. This is basically the end. You know, if they got past this, we would have had probably a lot of trouble trying to retake, but I even still think that if they capped it here, like if they moved the point anywhere, we still would have been fine. Just because, you know, we at least had like 2 fights after this. In terms of the ultra aggression, like we're literally in that spawn right now and they can't do anything. And that's me with my crazy big brain setup, just sitting in the corner. And they couldn't do anything about it because they messed up their movement. So, you know, we just killed their team. Monkey starts trying to move it. I was trying to go for it. It was just a bad sticky because she had recoil anyway. I needed to bait out the recoil for that to pay off. But you know, we get a few kills, you know, we live the life, so I'm like, well, you know, I'll go back to their spawn, you know, I'll show them what's for, and they will not regret it, and yeah. I definitely think I need to be a way more aggressive, like I should have engaged both of them, like distracted them, but, I mean, I distracted this Tracer, which, you know, is better than nothing, but, you know, they could have won that fight, because it was like 4v, it was 3v4, so, you know, it was in our favor still, but I still wouldn't trust it. And here, this is basically the last saving throw. And you saw at the end of the last point, I did the exact same thing as this Tracer, just run for the point. Unfortunately, the enemies all set up for it in that last round because it was next to their spawn, and we won. But we still... My movement here is also pretty bad. This soldier is obviously not amazing, but I was blinking into the open instead of into cover. There's a little covey where the window is that you can't blink through. I could have...